Welcome back for another episode of Branching Out with Sierra. Today we're on episode 35, Leadership and Technology, Strategies for Greater Impact in a Digital World. In all of these episodes, we're talking about having greater influence and impact, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to have my friend Michael Savino come in and talk a little bit about how we can ensure we're having a positive impact as leaders in our community and beyond, and have that impact in a digital world. So we have our digital expert, Michael Savino, with us here today. Michael is going to share a little bit about his business Nexus Box, which I'm excited for folks to hear about. And you are a very complex individual, meaning, there's so much to explore that I'm just going to give people a heads up that we're going to have you on for several episodes this year because we had to kind of break down all of the different aspects of Michael and his life that would be podcast worthy, of course, into several episodes. So today we're focusing on really making sure that we are reaching our audiences, right? That we're getting out to the people that we want to have a positive impact on and talking about the digital world. So thank you for being here, Michael. I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me as well. I'm excited to be here and to get some information out to your audience.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was reminiscing. I was trying to, go through when did we first meet? Will I share that? Do you remember when we first met?
It was definitely a chamber event.
I think so.
It was it one of the Christmas? Was it Christmas event?
It might have been a chamber Christmas event, and then you ended up coming to the Leadership Academy.
Yeah, I did that. Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? It had to be a chamber.
It all runs together.
It does, yeah. Like I mean, heck, I have a hard time trying to remember what I had for breakfast or something this morning, but it's been a few years.
It has.
It has definitely been a few years.
Well, it's been wonderful. I want people to kind of understand a little bit about your journey to Nexus Box, and also like the meaning behind the name, I think is pretty cool. So can you share a little bit about your journey to sitting here in this chair today?
Yeah, definitely. So again, my name is Michael Savino. I am the CEO and founder of Nexus Box. We started the company back in 2016. And when I started it, it was just me working in a little room in my house and, trying to figure out what am I going to do here with this, small little company of, making pictures go on web pages on the internet. And, what do we do from here and how do we make this thing turn into something? And little did I know, a few years later, we'd have a 7-figure business. So it's been a wild journey, but when I got started with this, I've had numerous companies in the past. I've always kind of gotten them to a certain point where it was like, okay, hey, we hit the 6-figure mark. Do I get an employee? How do I do that? Where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. And I would always kind of like fall back and not have that secret sauce of kind of making that jump. And when Nexus Box happened, it just kind of all fell together, and I found this magical thing called virtual assistants, and I found the perfect kid at the time. This guy Emilio, I hired him through a staffing agency that outsourced employees and stuff internationally, and he was, I can say officially, in Venezuela. Because we actually just recently helped him move out of Venezuela and get to Spain.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
So, he's been with us for a number of years now, and we helped him with all the paperwork and to get him out of there and get to Spain and stuff this past summer.
Oh, that's amazing. I remember when you first told me all about him.
Yeah, he's like part of the family now, quite frankly, and stuff. An awesome guy. But yeah, when I hired him, he really helped me kind of put the whole project management, like the whole like, hey, how are we going to do this? Like make the multiple mic kind of situation kind of happen, and help me also trust, which is a big thing. I could never trust anybody to really do this without like micromanaging, and I really kind of stopped micromanaging because I was able to trust at that point with him. And when we got past that point, I was like, okay, this worked once. now let's replicate this. And
Yeah.
we kept going and adding more people and developers and all this sort of stuff. And um, eventually on another note and stuff, 2018, when I got diagnosed with cancer and stuff, I used this company also as a way to kind of push through all of that and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of my staff at the time and stuff was able to kind of help me kind of push through and get through all of that. And, luckily I had everybody, and, we had built this awesome culture within the, everything to kind of like put, health and family first. And, here we are today. It's just kind of been an awesome, journey over the last 8 years or so.
That's amazing, and people already understand why we need multiple episodes for you, because you just barely touched on a couple of things there. But the name Nexus Box.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
So, in the past, I've always kind of done these things where like I sleep on it and I'll wake up and I'll just kind of like draw out a logo or a name and stuff. And this one it came to me and stuff, and I'm like, Nexus, okay. Nexus Box, and like it just hit me one day. And thinking about it, it's like, okay, Nexus is about bringing people together. And boxes, you don't normally think of a box, but it's kind of bringing people together under like one house, 4 walls, bringing people together and stuff. And we want our, I don't want to call them customers or clients, but people that that rely on us, to be able to truly rely on us and not have to look elsewhere and stuff at the end of the day. And be able to, have all of the solutions to help them, reach what their goals are.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you say all of the solutions, can you give us an idea of all the different types of services? By the way, I went to your website the other day, and your website's amazing. But when I look through all the things that you offer, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's literally like a one-stop shop.
We try. We definitely try. And, even for, some of the items that we're not specialists at, we have partnered up with the correct people and stuff like that to bring in the solutions and stuff that we can then, do that stuff still in-house and stuff, so they don't have to look elsewhere. We have all of the solutions for them. And in our tagline of the company, it's, helping our clients like reach the next level and stuff, so it's kind of everything that we've kind of built upon personally, professionally, and everything else. And yes, we have a lot of services. It started with web development, and most of the services are still surrounding web development. Our main specialty in web development is e-commerce. So anybody that's trying to sell anything on the internet, we're the people you talk to. We have helped small mom and pops. We have helped large enterprise companies. One of our largest clients, TeleRx, we just recently, over the last year, they went from, I guess it was last January. They did 20,000 their first month, and right now they're doing about 1.6 million per month. Wow. In a year.
That's insane.
So I mean, it's
my jaw's on the floor.
It's wild, and I mean, we've had a lot of awesome success stories, but these guys are blowing it up. I mean, there was they were talking about them on Joe Rogan and stuff like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, that has to feel good to have been a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, and the way that they rely on us as like an arm of their team and not just a company.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what we thrive off of. Like all of our clients that like we work with, when we bring them in, like they're becoming part of our company, and we're becoming part of their company. Like it's not just a, hey, go do this kind of a situation. We give them our opinion, our feedback. We're honest with everybody. We're very transparent on everything. And, we want the same from them. We want them to express their needs and how we can, really help them. Because if they don't succeed, we don't succeed.
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of a big part of our culture and stuff. But, on top of the e-commerce stuff, we also do mobile apps. We do your regular websites. We do pen tests for security audits, HIPAA compliance on servers. We do marketing, your PPC, your SEO, all of that sort of fun stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. It's interesting because I have to talk to you about that whole concept of being the, the arm for all these businesses, because I have to explore some things with you this year. I have some ideas. But the reason I really wanted to do this episode is because the whole purpose behind the podcast is helping people to see how to apply leadership principles to everyday life, and that we're all leaders and we're all trying to have a positive impact in one way or another. If you ask someone, what is your purpose? To help with blank, right? We're always helping people. And I want to make sure that the listeners understand, with all of like the noise out there, I think like technology as a whole, as a business owner, you have no idea what direction to go in. Like, how do I reach the people that I want to reach? That's like the big overarching question. I want people to have some ideas for that. But I'm curious, I think you said 8 years, in 8 years, what changes you've seen in web development, the digital tools available, like what changes are you seeing in 8 years of technology?
So, I mean, the biggest one, and I'm just going to say it, it's AI.
Yeah.
I mean, really in the last 18 months, I mean, it's already changed the landscape drastically beyond belief. Like, I mean, people are just starting to really kind of understand how it can impact their business. I mean, I hate to say it's replaced employees and stuff, even on our company. I mean, it's what we're able to accomplish now in a 24-hour period versus, 2 years ago. I mean, we're doing like 2-3 times the output because what we're able to implement using those tools.
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes, like, let's say, for example, there's a bug or an issue on a website and development team's stuck on it, they're scratching their heads. We can take the code and be like, hey, what's the issue? And we've been able to find
Instantly.
the bug and then go back and fix it. So there's different things like that. And really, I think some of the bigger areas where AI and things like that are also coming into play is, your search engine optimization, your content generation, all of that stuff, products, think about an e-commerce store that has 50,000 products on it. Could you imagine sitting there and tediously writing manually meta tags, titles,
like you used to?
Like everybody had to. I mean, it takes years, months, years, it's just unbelievable. AI, you can go in there and, literally just have it automated, and in like a day, you could have everything rewritten.
Yeah.
And I exaggerate a little bit, but I mean, you get the point.
No.
I mean, you really can go in there and that fast and, generate things. It's absolutely insane how fast things are moving right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I figured you were going to say AI, but like, when did you, because I feel like you're ahead of the curve, what's coming down the pike for us normal folk, right? And so like, when did you start to use AI or get exposed to its capabilities? Because I know that, I probably didn't until way after you already knew it, used it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was kind of shy about using it in the beginning. I really was. I think we first started using it about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And, it was just kind of dabbling with it, like playing with it, just to kind of see what kind of capabilities we could do with it. Now, our biggest thing that we actually use it for is actually scope writing. So we'll sit down with clients and we can actually focus on the conversation that we're having with them instead of just sitting there and taking notes. So we have note takers that are AI. It transcribes our actual meeting conversations. And then from the scope writing side of things, we actually can then, because we've had like, we're focusing on the needs and what the actual conversations are, and like hearing them out and being able to like to think, proactively instead of like, oh my God, did I take that note? Did I write everything down? It's already there. So we can take all of those notes and go back to our, AI system and be like, okay, please, with prompts and stuff, and, go in and be like, hey, please
always
read all
say
of our
please.
notes. Yeah, I do.
I do too.
My technology overlords, when they take over like Terminator, I want to make sure that they saw that I was,
Same.
being polite, so. But yeah, no, we always, we input it, make sure it understands what, we're trying to do with the prompt and stuff. And prompting is always kind of the biggest thing for it. But we want it to read our notes, understand it, and then we'll actually have a conversation with it and be like, okay, here's what we're trying to do, through prompts. And, tell it we need to create a scope and give it the requirements of the scope. And yeah, I mean, we still have to go back and manually edit things, but it'll take 2 days of work, to do it manually versus like we can go in there and bang out a scope in like a couple hours now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really transformed how we've done that. And I mean, I'll have to show you some of them. I mean, just the quality of the way and a lot of it does come down to the prompts, but the way we've been able to do this, I mean, the quality of it is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you have to train it to know you.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
I feel like the hardest work is up front, teaching it about yourself, your company.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, it knows more about me than I know about myself.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, and some of our clients, like, we'll train them, like we'll do some consulting with them, and we'll try to show them how they can implement AI into like their workflows.
Cool.
And I scare some of them sometimes because I'll be on a Google Meet and I'll be like, hey, I'd like you to meet my friend ChatGPT over here. And actually in the Google Meet, we can actually have it, I'm not sure what to call it. We haven't given it a name yet, but as an actual like person in the meeting, and then we can have, you and I can be talking, and we can be like, well, what do you think about this? And then it'll reply and be part of the conversation.
Okay, well, that's above and beyond what I have tried. Okay, so help me to understand this, because I have been on like Zoom calls where someone has their AI assistant pop on and take notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I go back and forth on it. I'm not going to lie. Like, just this aspect.
It's intrusive sometimes.
Feeling recorded
Yes.
is uncomfortable for me as I'm being recorded. I say this.
Of course. Of course.
So yeah, I don't love that, but you're saying beyond just having it on their recording to then give you a summary and key points and takeaways afterward, that it is actually interacting?
You can then take the notes from there and then put it into another AI system and use that as data. So kind of like if you're on a website and, think about it from a marketing standpoint, like if you're shopping and how if you say something to your phone and all of a sudden ads start popping up, like think about it, it's all data. So you get your data from your meeting, and you could take that data and put it into another system and then use that.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about data and how you just leverage it and stuff to kind of help you progress and, do what you need to faster.
Yeah. So it's a huge time saver, obviously. Incredibly. I know a lot of people are scared about it, nervous about it, or just don't even know how to get started.
Yes.
Totally going off course here, but I'm going to ask anyway. So if someone just wants to like dip their toe in AI, what do you recommend?
Just go over to just Google ChatGPT. You can get a free account over there. Now I'm sounding like a sales rep.
You are.
You can.
He's
go
not
over
getting
there.
paid for this.
Not getting paid. This is not a sponsored ad or anything.
That's what I use. I use ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's a free account. I mean, for $20 you can go get the paid one and get a whole bunch more, intelligence out of it. But you can go over there and, my kids go on there and they play around with it and they make songs. They're like, hey, make me a song about our dog, and it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, my son will go on there, he'll make a song, and then he starts singing it, and it's, you can make him funny, you can make him serious, like it, there's lots of cool things. Some of our employees, they actually make coloring books, like you can have it make pictures.
Oh,
they'll make coloring pictures for their kids. So you can go on there, you can do lots of different things, whether it's business or personal, heck, you can even have it, let's, on an accounting level, you could give it your bank records and say, hey, find me the missing transactions, instead of going through everything.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can potentially use it for.
Yeah. Like literally everything you go to do, you could like pause and, maybe I should try that and see if it can help me with this.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think that makes sense. So I was thinking about how, for example, with social media, to me it has become very apparent when some people choose to use AI for their social media posts. Yep. So even if I am using it, I'm very careful about how I go about it because I don't want it to be obvious that it wasn't written by me, right? So I think you can be smart about it, but my bigger question is how do you stand out amongst all these businesses when everybody has all these tools at their fingertips now? They're generating content like never before. Like, how do you stand out these days?
It's a very good question, and that's kind of one of the... So that actually ties into search engine optimization as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of we have a very big belief in terms of how and I'm going to kind of answer this in a roundabout way and stuff by kind of going back into what search engine optimization is and kind of our philosophy on it, because it's about standing out and stuff. So Google and Bing and all those sorts of companies and stuff back in the day, it used to be very like, hey, let me search for, leadership, and, let me blow out my website and just put the word leadership all over my website. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
There's so many competitors out there. There's so many, different businesses, and everybody thinks that it's just a build it and they will come kind of situation and stuff. Even, where it used to be like, hey, I'm going to put a brick and mortar store and people are just going to show up because I built it. They think that that's the same on the internet now.
Yeah.
Like it's 1997 or something. But, it's, even if you put all these keywords on there, it doesn't work. So you have to become a leader in your space. And what does that mean? You have to like actually write content, whether or not it's, AI generated or whatever, you have to still have input in there that's making you viable, and people want to learn more about you,
Yeah.
So one thing that a lot of people do is, let's say you're an accountant, or, you have one of the educational websites and stuff where you're trying to sell a course or something. You give people free information, so people understand and they can trust you. The same thing with big companies. You want to give them information that prove to them that you're a leader in your space, and it's a lot of the times it's content. A lot of the times also it's video, people are very short form oriented these days. So, getting on Instagram or, rest in peace, TikTok, it's all about, what can you do to grab their attention because it's such a short period of time. But yeah, it's truly about being that leader, providing that information to them, and then Google and all the algorithms that are out there realizing, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Okay, I'm gonna push this out in front of more people. But strictly just having a site and putting it there on the internet, it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think about a lot of the listeners that I do know, and they're small business owners and they wear a lot of hats,
Yes.
right? And so the question often comes up, like, if I have set amount of time or set amount of money, what's the first step I should take? Like, is it better to invest my time and money in having really good, consistent social media presence? Is it better for me to have a really amazing website? Like, where should people focus their attention if they have little attention to give?
So that's kind of a hard question to answer, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Because it depends on what their industry is.
That's a great answer, actually. Okay.
It really depends on the industry. If it's an e-commerce store, I would actually just make sure that your listings are done properly, and then I would just start putting money into ads, because it's a pay-to-play industry, realistically. Yes, you want to have a nice user interface. You want to make sure that, your checkout's not broken and all that kind of stuff. And you need to compete against your competitors out there, and pay-per-click is really the only way. We've had even recently, and I had to be very polite and stuff, and just be like, I'm sorry, we can't help you, because this client, he came to us just through a lead form and stuff on our website, and he's like, I don't like Google, I will never give them money. And he had this florist shop that he's like, I'm not getting any orders, and like, I will never give Google my money. I'm like, yeah, but you have to, otherwise you're not gonna get it in there. If you want to compete with 1-800-Flowers or any of the other businesses, and really get out there, unless it's a must do for an e-commerce. Unless you're only going to target your local town or city, then you could probably get away with some search engine optimization and things like that. But if you want to go nationwide, you have to go pay to play. On the flip side, if you're a service-based business, maybe you're an electrician or a plumber or something like that, I would not, yes, have a website, have it nice, but I would put more time and energy into your social media and, making short form videos that like give away information. Be like, oh man, so that's how you do that plumbing, putting in a new sink or something. Is the homeowner going to try? Maybe. But more likely it's going to be like, he knows what he's doing. I'm going to go hire this guy to do it.
Or if I fail, I'm going to call them to help fix it.
And then you get a bigger project sometimes maybe. Yeah. But that would be the direction I would suggest.
Okay. No, that's really helpful. I do understand that it would be different based on, service, product, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm not sure that a lot of people think that way because they want a one-size-fits-all answer. And
it's true.
And that's why you have to come to a professional like you who does it on a regular basis and knows, it's totally fine, who does it on a regular basis and knows what's the best direction of the investment of time or money, right? SEO, we hear that all the time. Okay, it's a buzzword right now. I know you mentioned it, and I know it's not just some simple keywords anymore. Can you just, for people who don't know much about it, can you paint a little bit more of a clear picture of exactly what you mean when you're talking about SEO?
Yeah, so SEO, it's the buzzword like you said and stuff, but it stands for search engine optimization. It's making your website visible to Google and Bing and Yahoo and all the other smaller search engines that are out there and stuff, so they can see you. There's a lot of things that do go into it. Keywords is a very small part of it. Like I was talking about before, being a leader in your space. So whether that's creating videos or content and stuff about proving that what you're talking about, that your business is legitimate, just going out there and saying, okay, hey, I'm a plumber, and just putting up a website with your phone number is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have to make videos, you have to make content all generated about proving that you know what you're doing. But the other things that also go into it is, user interface, that experience that customers see, whether or not your site is, able to be navigated properly. Google looks at all of that sort of stuff. Are your pictures too big? Did you just take your 25 megapixel camera and just upload a photo to it and the site loads like 5 minutes even on a cable modem? There's all of these little tiny things, and some of the small things are like, there's a thing called a robots.txt file, that opens it up to say, hey, I'm allowing Google to see you. Some people, and more than they'd like to admit out there, have that turned off for some reason. Maybe they're previous to web developer where they were trying to build the website themselves. They just have it disabled, and none of the search engines can see them because they have it disabled. So there's little tiny things like that people just don't know or did on accident that prevent the search engines just as a whole from actually even just being able to find them before they even get to trying to prove that they're a leader in their space.
Okay, so I want to use an example. So let's say that I wanted to Google electrician in Winchester, Virginia.
Yep.
Okay. And obviously it's going to come up with a whole list of them. I think that what we're saying is that even if Joe Schmo is an electrician in Winchester, Virginia, he probably wouldn't even show up on maybe the first 5 pages of businesses if his website isn't all of the things that you just said.
Correct.
Right?
That's correct. And on top of that, if you're a service-based business, one of the most important things on top of that is sometimes it's not even your own website. It's your Google business profile. That's a whole other topic of discussion too.
Let's go there because
Okay.
because that's important too, and I'm actually curious for my own purposes. So we'll go there. Tell me more about that.
So it's kind of one of the biggest things and stuff, quite frankly, that gets overlooked. A lot of people just go and say, okay, I have a business, and Google sometimes registers it without you even doing it, and you're just kind of there,
existing.
But you're just existing. But if you take ownership of your profile, you put pictures on your profile, you update your offerings on your profile, make sure your phone number is correct, make sure your website is on there, Do a little write-up about it. Keep it active with additional updates, like, hey, almost like a social media profile in a way.
I was going to say,
sometimes.
mine posts to that.
Yes. And people can actually contact you through it as well.
Yeah.
They have a messaging system on a lot of them. So keeping it updated is a very big thing. And I can't believe how many times it gets overlooked, but it's just, you optimize that, and then, the amount of traffic that it can generate, it's phenomenal. And it's utilized in so many other platforms for analytics out there as well. And where am I going in train of thought on this? What's a good way to put it? Point blank, it opens the door.
Yeah.
It really does. It opens the door for you in so many different ways on that. And then also you can set your radius, for where you service.
Yeah.
I know where I was going with that. Reviews.
Yes, please.
Reviews.
I was about to go there myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Reviews. That's where my train of thought was supposed to be going. So
it's Friday.
It is Friday. So in combination with optimizing the content that's on your business profile there, if you have 0 reviews and you have, let's say, 20 different, electricians or plumbers in your area, you're going to be at the bottom of the list. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times you look at, that kind of service-based business, and unless they're like a big franchise, they usually don't have that many reviews. Yeah. It's a very easy way to jump to the top of the list. And especially from a local service-based business, to show up on the first page of Google just by saying, hey, get me 5 or 10 of my customers to put a review on there. I mean, that's like gold, literally. I mean, that is gold, that if you can just ask 5 or 10 people.
I think that's a really good point. And I have that conversation with people a lot of the time, where we've used one another's services. Here, let's just both sit down and give each other a testimonial, right? Do a review for one another and add to it. But it happens all the time. It actually made me very sad the other day that I had taken a course through a specific organization, and I had given them direct feedback, and then I went to give them a review on Google, and
didn't show up.
They didn't have any reviews. It was like there was nothing on there at all, and I was like, oh no, we have to get this going for you. But yeah, it's pretty common. I recently cried over this. I had some of my reviews just disappear from Google. Mm-hmm. And they were some of my most meaningful reviews. And so we had to I don't know how to dispute where the heck did these things go. And by the way, what I do now is when I get a review, I take the words and I put them in a Google spreadsheet and who it was from and the date, and I keep it, because I guess they have some I don't know, bots going through there checking reviews to see if they're legit or if the content is acceptable.
I am a victim of that myself.
It's painful, right?
It's very painful.
Did you cry, Michael? Because I cried.
I got very upset. I'm not going to lie. I
Every review means a lot to me.
It does. It means a tremendous amount. I mean, the energy that it goes in, it's not like you're selling somebody a bar of soap. Mm-hmm. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into our clients. Yeah. And a review that comes from them means so much at the end of the day, because people go there first when they want to go and find a business that they need. And if they see 0 reviews, they're like, oh, well, maybe they're new. Maybe I don't want to use them. And they go to the next.
Exactly what I think.
It is. But you could be a long-established business and people are skipping you because you have no reviews.
Yeah. Let's make it happen, guys. That's actionable right now.
Huge. It's a very simple fix. Yeah. Get on your computer, send some emails, give them the link to your business profile, and you could literally within a couple days generate more revenue because you're getting more leads. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest number one thing.
Yeah, instead of sitting around scrolling through social media at night, find some of your friends and go on and give them reviews. They'll be very grateful.
They make it very easy. They give you the link to send them. Yeah. You could send it in a text message. You could send it in an email. You could even put it on social media and tell all your friends on social media, here, go do this for me real quick.
Yeah.
So
no, I was glad that you brought that up, because that's the first thing I do when I'm looking for a service. Mm-hmm. For a product or service, I search on Google and I immediately look at the star rating. And then if it's not 5 stars,
Yep.
I start reading actual reviews, and I will scroll for a bit, and then I still check the website. And if I see spelling errors, I have a confession, or it just doesn't look professionally done, I'm like, next.
Yep.
So I know that's my system for finding someone I want to do business with. So I make the assumption that other people are doing the same.
I actually like when they don't have 5-star reviews.
You do?
I do.
Okay, we're going to argue over this because I'm going to be crushed the moment I don't get a 5-star review because it's exactly 5 right now. I think I'm at like 45 or 50 reviews.
Let me put it this way. It's not that I want somebody to go give 0 stars or
I was going to say,
anything like that.
Don't go give us.
Not that I'm encouraging that. Definitely give the 5
stars. You think
stars.
it's not trustworthy?
No, well, it depends on the business. If it's a product, it's probably a bunch of bots that are being paid to, things like that.
Okay. I think I've bought a lot of things because of that. I think that I've been tricked on many different products.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
From a marketing, it looks good. But it's probably a bunch of people overseas that were paid to go write reviews and things like that to bump up products, to make it sellable.
So when I watch an infomercial, which I said this the other day, if I see an infomercial, I basically, by the end of it, I'm sold. I go online, I look at it, and they have good reviews, and I'm like, yeah, this one's real. And then it's not.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's not. But my point on I like to see when it's not all 5 stars is because you also get to know the business and how they respond.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like if they're like, oh, piss off, I don't care. You know who you're getting into business with.
Yeah.
If they respond, oh, I'm so sorry, hey, here's a discount, please contact me here. We're glad to help you.
Yeah, it's powerful.
You can see that they care.
Yeah.
So that's my
I do look at responses when there aren't that many businesses that have perfect 5-star ratings. Truthfully, when I go and look, there aren't that many. So I just end up I like reading the actual reviews.
We don't, and I have no problem saying that. And do you know why? It's because you also get your competitors who come after you sometimes, and they have never done business with you, and they like to have attacks on your sites or your profiles.
Oh, Michael, this is terrible.
And there's only one of them and stuff, but it's happened.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have already put out there that the day that I get a 4-star, that I'm going to be a little upset about it, but my friends tell me that I should get over that at some point.
It'll happen.
You know what, Michael? Does. I want you to go on today after this and give me a 4-star.
I don't know if I could do that. Because then I'll be the one in infamy who didn't give the 5 star.
Yeah, but I'd rather it be you than somebody else, to be completely honest.
Okay. Then it's a bonding moment. I'll be the 4-star guy.
I can't believe I just asked for it. I just want it over with.
All right. If it has to be somebody.
It'll be you.
I'll be the 4-star.
Thanks, friend. No, so takeaways from that, if you haven't actually registered the Google side of your business, do it, get it set up. I would say make sure it's completely up to date, just like you would your website. You wouldn't want your website out of date.
And one actually more important thing too, when you are registering it, especially if you're a brick and mortar business, they'll send you a postcard to verify that you are the owner. So you also want to make sure that when you're taking ownership of it, that you look out in the mail for that postcard and stuff with that number so you can verify that you are the owner of it.
I remember that happening before to one of my clients because she never got the postcard, couldn't find it, and so she was stuck and couldn't move forward.
Yeah, you get in limbo sometimes, or you didn't change your address and you didn't update the profile correctly, so they sent it to your old business in like a different state. Things like that. So definitely an important thing to look for.
Okay, so we've covered some AI, talked a little bit about SEO,
Yep.
about what we need on websites. We've talked about Google. Are there any other like key digital tools that you want to throw out there that people could use to better reach their audience?
So we talked about it a little bit, but social media, quite frankly, I mean, yes, people love to doom scroll and all that kind of stuff, but as much as I personally hate social media because it takes too much time out of my life, from a business standpoint, it's a very easy way to reach people as well. So if you can somehow manage to limit your time on the scrolling and everything else and leverage it strictly from a business standpoint, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, think about human history. There's no other way in human history up until now to reach that many mass amount of people in a short period of time. I mean, it's so powerful, and things, the classic, phrases, it's going to go viral, and it's all because of the content that you put out there. If you just put a picture and things on there and, what you were talking about before with like AI generated content, you can easily tell if something's AI generated.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's very easy. Or,
and it's got like little emojis in certain spots.
Yeah, it'll have the emojis, even on the pictures and stuff like that. There's a time and a place when you can generate AI generated pictures and things like that, or even the AI generated videos. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. Like, not even like the funny ones, but like the ones where like they're trying to sell a product and the mouth doesn't match up to what they're saying. A huge pet peeve. I cannot stand that.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've talked to many video producer people that, in the industry, and they can't stand that either. Number one, it takes business away from the video marketing guys. But number two, it tricks people, because a lot of people, they're like, oh my God, this person's trying to sell this and it looks so great in the video. And if you come to find out that it's AI, it's getting very good on that side of things too. But when you realize it, it's too much on that side. But if you make legitimate videos, legitimate posts, and you tag things properly, which is a whole another avenue we could go down to, but leverage it for your business. People will see that you're really talking to them. And once again, people have a very short-term memory and, focus span and everything. So if you can capture them right there, good things can happen.
I have a question about that.
Go ahead.
So, obviously, time is limited. And I am really bad about, I put stuff out there all the time, but I don't take time to engage in other people's stuff. Because one, I don't want to get sucked into it, and two, I just don't have the time. I have time long enough to get on, do what I have to do for my business, right? Put it out there. But do you know if by me not engaging through my business profile, not going and liking other stuff, like not engaging on my own posts where people commented, I know I need to respond to those. But like if I'm not going out engaging on other people's, is that impacting whether or not it's going to put me in front of people? Or is that just guilt? Does it only cause guilt?
It causes. I think it causes more guilt, quite frankly.
So it's not impacting it.
I don't think it's impacting anything in that regards. I do go out and I comment and try to engage in other people's, but I'll do it from my personal, and then I'll redirect them to the business. I won't do it directly from the business. That would be my approach and stuff on that. I don't like doing things other than posting on my own profile directly from the business.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so here I have, like, I'll call it my personal. I actually have too many Facebook accounts. I have like the original personal back in the day, all of my like high school, college friends, that one.
Tom was your friend.
And then I opened up this other one that's like my professional one, okay? And then I have my business. Well, I have a lot of followers for my business, but not a lot of engagement with the post. If I take that same exact post, share it on my professional page, which we'll call personal, it seems to get a lot of eyes on it and a lot more engagement. And I'm like, is my business page not showing up on people's feed? I know that I have a ton of followers there, but it's not getting the same engagement. So I end up taking everything I post on the business and then resharing it.
Yes. You hit the nail on the head with that.
Okay.
It's definitely not being shown to all of the followers of your page. Meta and a lot of the other social media channels out there, they've gone to the pay-to-play situation as well. That's what that magical little boost button is now. So if you want to boost it to your followers and make sure that they all see it from the page, they want you to pay for that.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, unless you have millions, tens of thousands or millions of followers, a large chunk of them are probably still not going to see it.
Okay. I figured that people weren't seeing it at all, since the level of engagement was so different.
Yeah, and that's why when you move it to your personal or LinkedIn or something like that, so many more people will interact with that.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, come on. Like, why aren't you doing it over there? I'm trying to push you guys over here.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I noticed is I can't really share, like even when I post the podcast, I can't share the link to the podcast in the post. It will delete the post and like restrict it. I have to put the link in a comment in order to post it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's been happening. It keeps deleting all my posts.
Some platforms will limit what you can post on there. That's interesting that it's doing that to you on that front. Because I've shared YouTube videos and other audios, and most of the time it works. But I've also had some friends where the monitors have been doing very weird things on Facebook lately. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But
well, it's very frustrating when
yes,
it's not like I'm posting something bad. It's like, this has been blocked. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. And then Matt will be like, Sierra, you have to stop doing that because eventually they're just going to turn your page off completely.
Oh, yeah. I've had some friends recently and stuff. They've been completely banned and blocked from Facebook, and they were just posting pictures of their animals.
Yeah.
They're like,
it makes me scared to post anything.
They're like, you have violated community, like you have a community violation, I think was the message that Facebook said. And it was like, there was a picture of a dog. It was their dog that was posted. It's like, but it's my dog. Why are you banning me for posting a picture of my dog? Like, and it was a cute dog too.
I don't want that to happen, obviously, but I was just curious about that. So I've tried to do my like workaround of see link in comments is what I'm having to do anytime I'm posting an external link.
Yes. So one other thing I'm going to throw out there, because you brought up the social media and posting, kind of the funky way that Facebook and all that stuff operates. So my wife has a business. She makes soap, Plumera Essentials. I'm going to give a little quick plug.
Yeah,
for
you
her.
should. I've used her chapstick.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
very,
great. Very good. Very good.
Good.
The first chapstick company to make it to Mount Everest Base Camp.
There you go.
Time for another story.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Yes. Segue. But where I'm going to go on that is, so she is not very social media savvy. She will be the first one to admit that. And we started running ads for her Facebook account. And within, 30 to 60 minutes of running ads for her Facebook account, like the day we launched her website, fake messages from people that were pretending to be Facebook account reps, they would reach out to her and say, hey, your account is in violation of something.
Oh, yeah, I get those.
Oh, my God. And as soon as you click on the link, they take over your account and you can no longer log in. And the worst part is you've probably already added your credit card in there and they've locked you out. And do you know what they try to do? They go and add their own Facebook page to that and then try to use your credit card to do the ad spends.
That's insane. Okay, well, I'm glad I don't click any of that stuff.
Yeah. Number one thing, never click on anything pretending to be somebody from Facebook. That doesn't happen. You'll get an email, and make sure that the email comes from a legitimate address. So that's a whole other, we could go into a security conversation as well.
We just need full-time guest. Welcome.
Nice to
The
meet you.
guy that's giving me a 4-star review is welcome to come back as much as he wants.
I was asked to do that.
Well, you could have given me a 3 and I just forced a 4 on you, so
This is true. This is true.
I might have actually upgraded. No, that's good to know. You might have just helped a lot of people avoid a lot of issues.
I have met a lot of people recently that have been doing that, and it's scary. It's kind of like the crypto scams and everything else that's out there, and tons of scams.
Yeah.
That could be another whole conversation.
Should we be making a list?
We might. There's a lot of things that we can talk about when it comes to the internet and things that are going on out there with that stuff. So
yeah. So how do we talked about like standing out, but that personal touch. Remember like back in the day when people like did handwritten notes? I still have some people that do that, which is amazing.
I love those.
Yeah, doesn't it feel great that someone took time out of their day?
Especially at Christmas. Like it's not just like I get an email or something. Like our staff will get like handwritten notes from clients, and it's like the best thing in the world. It makes everybody's day. Like there's nothing better than that and stuff still. And quite frankly, that is a great marketing technique. It is amazing. Like if you send a handwritten like letter to somebody, postcard saying, "Hey, I would love to sit down and buy you coffee and, get to know your business," you're probably going to get a call. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
People are getting bills and just junk mail in their mailbox these days. You get something legitimate like that, guerrilla marketing tactics these days, I can't say enough about them. There's so many cheap and alternative ways of getting business that people just overlook. And, everybody just thinks, oh, I'm just going to put a website on the internet and call it a day. So many other things that you can kind of play off of, though.
I like that example. Okay, so that's a personal touch, is a handwritten note. What other personal touches can you put into technology?
Personal touches into technology. Really, it's the video. I will always go back to video.
My least favorite thing.
I know. It's
That's why we're not on video today. No.
Exactly.
Yeah, blame it on me.
It really is, though. I mean, people get to see you. And when plumbers, electricians, when they come to us, the one thing that we like to tell people and stuff like that, because, they don't have a fortune. They don't have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to build a website. Maybe they have 5, maybe they have 10, to kind of get started from a service-based side of things. We tell them we want to tell a story of who you are.
Yeah.
We want people to see who you are and see how you interact, see what you're all about. And, back in the day, like I said, it was all about just making a website, putting content. Now it's just people want to see who you are. They visually want to see who they're going to do business with. So if you can put together a, hey, who are we kind of video, put that on your homepage, introduce yourself, it becomes very personal. And it goes so far these days because there's so many faceless companies out there.
Mm-hmm. No, I like what you said about telling your story. So is that your approach? And when someone comes to you and says, hey, I want a website created, that's your approach, is let's figure out what is the story you're trying to tell? Like
that's the biggest thing I always go to. Recently we did Shenandoah Caverns website over.
Cool.
Amazing people down there. Love those guys. They have not just the Shenandoah Caverns, but they have American Celebration. They have the Yellow Barn all on the same property down there. And that was how we went in, kind of promoting our services, was like, we want to tell the story of what you guys do and who you guys are. And, if you go down there, you can check out American Celebration. They've got all the parade floats from all the presidential elections. And nobody...
Oh, yeah, I went there.
It's amazing.
Cool.
It's like Disney World inside this building that's down there. And nobody knows that they're there. But like going in there and seeing everything and learning the history, it was, it's just like it's open for telling a story, because this area is so history rich that people need to know about it. And what other better way than going in there and telling the story of who they are. And we worked with a video production company. We put together the videos. We rebuilt the website and designed it and put together their history. you go there now and you can visually see what they're all about.
I can't wait to look at it.
It's a very cool website. I love that one.
I believe that. What's your favorite website you've ever built?
Oh God, favorite website. Honestly, right now it might be American Celebration. It's not the biggest website, but it visually and just what we went into story-wise with them, I think that's it's definitely up there. It's probably one of my favorite, actually.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. Okay, so video. I guess I'm gonna have to do some video.
I've forced myself to. I got the green screen in the office.
I was gonna say, do you have a video on your website of like on the About Us? Do you like, hi, I'm Michael Savino, just like that?
So the beauty of having kids. So my daughter, I hired my daughter like a year ago. I had her come in and do a bunch of videos and stuff, and she talked about me.
Oh, that's cute.
So I put a little personal touch and stuff on it that way. And in my hero video and stuff on the website, there's clips of when I went to Everest, and it's all about reaching the next level. You'll kind of see me like walking up and climbing stairs and climbing different parts, and like, so I'm like, business expense. You can see the different clips of like getting to the next level. So we leveraged that in there and stuff like that. So that is actually me in the
I'll have to go
there.
back and dig deeper. I think I hopped on there the other day because I was curious about service offerings and how it shifted over time. And of course, I saw that there were a billion services. But I will go back and look at that because I'm excited to see the connection between the two. Okay, so we talked about having a personal touch via video or handwritten notes if you don't want to use digital technology. I think that's great. So I want to pull it back to leadership for a minute. I actually always ask the same question at the very, very beginning of a podcast episode, but I didn't do it with you.
Okay.
I did it in reverse order for a reason, I swear. You don't know because you haven't listened to the podcast. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No, and I'll be honest, I try not to because I like to go in very fresh and just kind of like, because I am not good on these things when I prepare.
Oh.
Like at all.
Yeah, I've met people like that. I'm the opposite.
I cannot prepare for these things. Like I do not like standing up in front of people and reading some kind of presentation. Like if I'm just walk in, they're like, hey, I need you to go do this. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's more comfortable. Okay. Well, the question that I always ask is, one, do you see yourself as a leader? And two, when did you start seeing yourself as a leader? What was that moment that you felt that you were in a leadership position?
Yes. If you asked me 5, 10, 15 years ago, no.
Okay.
I feel like I have definitely come into that role. Do I think I'm natural at it? No. I think it took a lot of ups and downs and, quite frankly, personal challenges that I think kind of forced me into thinking differently. Mm-hmm. And when you go through certain things and people just start looking up to you for answers, you're kind of put in a different spotlight in terms of how you react and how you respond. And sometimes it just happens and then you kind of go with it, and now you can't go back. Like, is the only way I can kind of explain my way of kind of getting into a leadership role. Yeah. I feel like I'm now responsible for a lot of people, personally with my family, but also staff and contractors and everybody that, we support. If it wasn't for the company and what we've built, we'd have almost 20 people without putting food on their plates and paychecks and all that kind of stuff. So, every day I get into the office and I start getting these Slack messages because people need leadership and guidance on what to do and, guiding everybody throughout the days. Do I get a lot of work done personally? Not until like 8:00 at night, and usually.
Once everybody else is.
Yeah, like once everybody else signs off for the day. But, throughout the day, I'm giving that guidance, and one of my staff came to me yesterday, and she's like, "Oh my God, I messed up." She's like, "Here's what I did," and I had to reassure her and make sure that, like, hey, it's okay. We'll get through this. I know it's not a big deal at the end of the day, but that leadership of reassuring, you know, it's just what they're looking for, and that's, I think, kind of mentally what I've kind of learned as well. People want that reassurance, they want the guidance, they want somebody who's been through it, and I feel like I've been through it now, so it's kind of me giving back in a way sometimes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense. It seems like it's now you've kind of naturally fallen into
Yeah,
it because others are depending on you for answers, for their well-being, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to take responsibility for everybody's well-being.
Yeah.
That has to be a lot of pressure.
It is, and at the same time, it's fun because we've built a really nice team now. And, if you have a company culture like we've built, great team members and, just everything that we've done, it makes it easier. Yes, there's stressful days, crazy days, but, at the end of the day, I feel like we all have each other's back. And, I don't like using the "we're family" thing because it's so overplayed and things like that.
I actually believe that you are.
I want everybody in our company to be healthy, put their family first. Today we had a couple people that they weren't feeling good this morning. I'm like, take a half day, go rest up. Your health is more important than what's going on right here at the office. Like, get better. So, I mean, we all look after each other.
That's awesome. You've created a beautiful thing, Michael.
Trying.
You should be very proud of it.
It's very cool what we've accomplished.
So another question I always ask, because, I'm a little obsessed with lifelong learning. I know that you're always growing the business and growing yourself.
Yep.
What are you doing intentionally to grow right now?
On a big picture, we're trying to get into the government space.
Awesome.
We've been working for the last almost year, I think, working on getting our GSA contract.
Okay.
And we're right down to the last parts of getting the contract assigned. So that's going to be a huge step for us.
That is a massive step.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork. A lot of paperwork.
On my mind. That's awesome. Okay, so big picture, that's a huge step.
Yes.
What are you continuing to do to grow yourself as a leader?
I recently started being an assistant instructor at Boyce's Martial Arts, helping teach kids martial arts. So almost every day during the week, I'm over there helping the other instructors and stuff with the kids. And another topic we could talk about is my son's business that me and him have together.
Yeah,
as
write
well.
That one down too. That's one we're coming back to.
But me and him have an awesome relationship, and my son and I go over there and we teach classes together and stuff, which is really cool. So another way I'm trying to help give back, and then also grow as a leader and stuff as well, and stuff outside of the tech side of things where I can shut off from technology and kind of be away from the phone for a little while and stuff as well and stuff. So that's kind of been another personal way of growing.
I think that's amazing. I'm glad that you have something outside of tech. You know what I mean? That could...
It's honestly, it's helped settle my mind down, because like otherwise I would just go home with my laptop and open it up again after I left the office and just kind of continue.
Yeah.
So now I have a couple hours and stuff. Sometimes there's days where 3-4 hours and stuff we're on the mats and, doing things, whether it's a class that I'm in or, assisting in or something like that. But it's good to shut off.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. And I think it's great bonding time with your son as well.
He's a good kid. I do hope he wants to, and if you'll have him on.
Yes,
he's
I'm
a
going to have him on.
very cool kid.
Yeah. Okay, last question, I swear. Okay, we always do a branching out challenge, and that challenge is just something that you would, ask the listeners to take action on based on today's conversation. So what is your piece of advice? What can they do to make sure as a leader they're having the influence and impact on the people through the digital world?
So I would ask that, number one, that they are honest with themselves and their customers. Really be true to who you are as a company. Don't just say things for the sake of getting a customer, because at the end of the day, if you're just saying something to get a customer, you're going to get a 0-star review probably.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to follow through. So I think that's really, it kind of goes back to a lot of the things we were talking about before of like trying to be a leader, prove to everybody, and follow through on being true to who you guys are as a business.
I think that's great advice. Amazing. That was a great way to end it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. I know that you're going to be back and we have a whole list of things to cover, but I know that you added a lot of value to the listeners today. I'm sure they also have tons of questions too. So how can folks find you, get in contact with you, learn more about your business? Let's give them some contact info.
Yeah, so you can check us out. You can search for us on Google, Nexus Box, NEXUSBOX, or you can go directly to our website, nexusbox.io, NEXUSBOX.io.
Awesome. All right. Well, if they have questions, I hope they reach out to you. Or if they have requests of topics they want us to talk about on future episodes together, they could certainly reach out to me as well. So thanks again for being here. I'm going to close this out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I am so used to turning and now looking at the camera to close it out. So just so you guys know, obviously we don't have a video today. I'm not going to say exactly what happened. I'm just going to say it turned out that way and we're going with the flow this week.
It works.
Right? So thank you so much for sticking with us to the end of the episode. We hope you found value today. Please be sure to subscribe so you get notifications every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time when a new episode is dropped. As always, if you are interested in being on the podcast, you can go to branchingoutpodcast.com and scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a guest application. Matt's really tough. He might let you in. We'll see. But thank you again for especially our loyal listeners. I'm finding out all the time. I shared earlier that we have more listeners than I thought we did, and some come out of the woodwork here and there. So thank you so much for listening, and be sure to share with others that you think would enjoy it as well. Until next time, keep branching out.